Now, on the other side of this, we've got the opposite, and that is Pam Bondi once again. I don't know if, they've gotten shut down right now, temporarily at least, by a rogue federal judge, a Clinton appointee. But does this go back to Pam Bondi mishandling another situation? Let me know what you think as we dive into what is going on with Letitia James and James Comey. Check this out.
Former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James are off the hook, legally speaking. Well, at least for the time being. The government's cases against them were tossed because U.S. District Judge Cameron Curry, a President Bill Clinton appointee, ruled that U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan wasn't properly appointed to her position. Now, I've talked a lot about Halligan and the issues regarding her handling of the grand jury in the Comey case. Now, that is being reviewed by a totally different judge, so different circumstance. As for the rules that govern appointing a U.S. attorney, well, they're pretty clear. Halligan's predecessor was filling a vacancy as a 120-day interim appointment by Attorney General Pam Bondi. The thing is, the AG gets one shot until Congress approves a permanent replacement. Judge Curry's decision dismissed the cases without prejudice, and that means they could be brought up again if done so properly. But here's a big but. The 5-year statute of limitations has run out on Comey's charges specifically, meaning that his case cannot be reopened. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt promised that the Justice Department would appeal the ruling.
So we've got a rogue federal judge dismissing both Letitia James and James Comey's indictments, essentially without prejudice, basically saying that the case is dismissed. We're not even going to go to the merits. Not going to happen, citing technicality with Halligan's appointment. Now, this could be a major blunder on the part of Pam Bondi. I don't know, because the way you read the statute, you could get an appeals court that argues the other way. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens because that appeal has taken place or is about to take place. And thanks everybody for rolling up. Please smash that like button, subscribe. Welcome back to Courageous Media. James, really appreciate your comments. Thanks for rolling up. This is going to be a interesting situation to watch. We've got two outs on this. And I want to bring up Pam Bondi because just like was stated in that opening clip, Pam Bondi has already said that they are filing an appeal. Check this out as she was giving a press conference specific and dealt with this specific issue. Here we go.
If I could just get your reaction to the James Comey, Letitia James cases being dropped today. Back in Washington, James Comey put out a video. He said this matters most because a message has to be sent. The President of the United States could not use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Your reaction to the cases being dropped into that specific message?
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct.
What is your reaction to his statement?
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime. His alleged actions were a betrayal of public trust.
Really, it comes down to the way the statute is written, and the statute is written such that, and the way that the judge ruled as to where an appellate court will fall. My understanding is the judge ruled that Bondi was not able to make the appointment because the way the statute is written, the district court must make the appointment. That's not the case. The way the statute is written is that Bondi, the attorney general, makes the appointment. If she fails to do so, the district court can then make its own appointment of a U.S. attorney. However, she did make the appointment in this case. Now, as the original clip said, there is some question because the predecessor was theoretically a 120-day appointment awaiting Senate confirmation. Now, that person wasn't denied Senate confirmation. They were actually fired before they ever got to Senate confirmation, which there is some ambiguity as to whether the attorney general could appoint another U.S. attorney with a 120-day stipulation pending Senate confirmation, and how that would allow that U.S. attorney could act in all ways as a U.S. attorney could act. So it's going to come down to the way the appeals court really looks at that statute. And check this out, because I want to get into this because Fox News was reporting on this and talking about some of these various issues. Check this out.
What's White House response to that, and what can we expect will happen next, Caroline? Well, what I will say is that everybody knows that James Comey lied to Congress. It's as clear as day. And this judge took an unprecedented action to throw these cases out to shield James Comey and Letitia James from accountability based on a technical ruling. And the administration disagrees with that technical ruling. We believe the attorney in this case, Lindsay Halligan, is not only extremely qualified for this position, but she was in fact legally appointed. And I know the Department of Justice will be appealing this in very short order. So maybe James Comey should pump the brakes on his victory lap.
All right. Well,
So maybe James Comey should pump the brakes on his victory lap. I hope so, because James Comey needs to be held accountable for egregious crimes against the United States of America, against the previous Trump administration, against the people of the United States. Now, I want to get one last clip because I always like listening to him. He's extremely intelligent. He knows the law way better than I ever will. And that is Mark Davis. And Mark Davis has been right about quite a few things. He was absolutely right about Bolton and what happened and what is happening to Bolton now. Absolutely right about what was happening to Letitia James until this rogue judge got involved. But let's dive in with Mark Davis and get his take on this before we end for today.
James Comey faces dismissal due to alleged procedural missteps. A judge will rule by Thanksgiving on whether prosecutor Lindsay Halligan was unlawfully appointed to her role in the Comey case. What are you expecting in the Jim Comey case?
Lindsay Halligan has shown time and time again that she has overwhelming evidence that James Comey lied to Congress about his involvement in Crossfire Hurricane, the biggest scandal in American history. We've seen the evidence. She's produced it in response to James Comey's various motions to try to derail this prosecution. The evidence is overwhelming, but we do have Democrat judges in this courthouse in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., who seem to be going out of their way to protect James Comey and to try to kick this case. Lindsay Halligan is doing everything appropriately. We've looked at the evidence, we've looked at the transcripts, and if this judge kicks this case on for whatever grounds he comes up with to kick this case, that will be appealed. But James Comey will face accountability, whether it's in the Eastern District of Virginia or the Southern District of Florida.
Now, I love what he said there. And I'm hoping, because Mark Davis has an inside track on a lot of this stuff that you and I don't have. And so his last comment there, he will face accountability. He will face justice either in Virginia or in the Southern District in Florida. Now, what he's talking about there is a grand jury that has been impaneled in the Mar-a-Lago area in the Southern District of Florida, which is a federal district. There has been a federal grand jury impaneled. And the understanding, although there's been no official announcements really made from the White House, is that that grand jury is actually going to be issuing indictments, or at least seeing evidence on indictments regarding a conspiracy against rights, a conspiracy against Donald Trump and the administration of Donald Trump, a conspiracy against the people of the United States for all of the involvement in Russia, in the raid on Mar-a-Lago, in the lawfare against President Trump. It's going to be a conspiracy case, basically a giant RICO case involving anybody involved in the Russia hoax, which was a crime against rights, against the people's choice in electing Donald Trump president. All of the election shenanigans that went on in 2020, they can basically rope everything into this. And so I personally, whether we get Comey on this initial charge or not, want to see all of these people brought up on all of their various crimes and then wrap them in a conspiracy bow. Because when you do that, there are no statute of limitations. There is no jurisdiction crap in that this has to be heard by a DC district court. No DC swamp rats in this one. This can be heard in the Southern District of Florida, where there are real citizens, where there are real people who will hear the evidence for what it is and not just a bunch of partisan hacks. So I'm hoping that Mark Davis is talking from inside information that basically says They're going to get him one way or the other, him and everybody else, because they're going to do this under conspiracy and RICO charges. Let me know what you think in the comments. Eric Smith, I absolutely hated it too. This guy is a snake. This guy is a criminal. This guy is a crook of the highest order. And James Comey needs to face accountability, along with Letitia James, along with Shifty Schiff, along with Jack Smith, along with all of them that engaged in the serial destruction of the United States and the poisoning of all of the institutions against the actual citizens of the United States and in violation of the Constitution of the United States. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey, I really appreciate appreciate everybody being here. Please smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on those notifications. Share Courageous Media if you like the content. And if you really like and you want to support us, please join us as a member on YouTube of the Courageous Army. Just hit that join link. Really appreciate everybody rolling up. I hope you have a phenomenal Tuesday. And you guys, remember, God is good regardless of what happens. He is good. He is sovereign and he is in control. And people will all face justice eventually.